Hi, and thank you for visiting my channel. For more information, kindly subscribe and follow. Now let's get started. Rikishi has reacted to Jey Uso's historic Intercontinental Championship win from Monday Night Raw. In the show's main event, the former Bloodline member defeated Braun Breaker to win his first singles title in the company. Previously, Jey failed to win a singles championship on 6 separate occasions. Earlier this year, at Backlash France, he was unable to beat Damian Priest for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship and Gunther for the Intercontinental Championship. After Uso finally won his first singles title in WWE, Jey's father, Rikishi, reacted by sending a message to Rhea Ripley. Jey and Ripley have allied in recent weeks amid the Terror Twins feud with the Judgment Day. At Rhea Ripley _WWE, it's time to celebrate mommy. And your new IC champion Jey main event USO, everyone throw your hands in the air and say loud and proud #JWins #YEET at WWE, wrote Rikishi. Braun Breaker won the Intercontinental Championship by defeating Sami Zayn at the SummerSlam Premium Live event. He successfully defended the title against Zayn on Raw in an epic 2 out of 3 falls match. Leading up to Breaker's title defense against Jey Uso, the newly crowned champion won a fatal 4-way match involving Ilya Dragunov, Braun Strowman, and Pete Dunne. Rikishi stood in front of his phone, a nostalgic smile playing on his lips as he watched the live feed from the latest WWE SmackDown event. His son, Jey Uso, had just done the unthinkable. He had won the Intercontinental Championship. After weeks of intense build-up, grueling matches, and shifting alliances, Jey had secured his first singles title in WWE. Rikishi felt a surge of pride that coursed through him like an electric current. But the moment wasn't just about celebration, it was layered with a deep sense of family honor, redemption, and legacy. However, amid all the euphoria, Rikishi's attention was drawn to one particular figure standing at ringside during the match, Rhea Ripley. Rhea had been a constant in Jey Uso's journey ever since his fallout with the Bloodline, particularly with his cousin, Roman Reigns. She had been there, always watching, always waiting, offering cryptic words of support or, at times, subtle provocations that made Jey second-guess every move. She was part of the Judgment Day, but more than that, she was a force of her own, intertwining her fate with Jey's ever since the faction started showing interest in him. Rikishi had seen it all play out on screen, and though he respected Rhea Ripley's abilities, he was a man who understood the importance of family, especially now, when the bloodline was shattered and Jey was forging his own path. The celebrations in the ring intensified as Jey held the Intercontinental title high above his head, the crowd chanting his name. Meanwhile, Rhea stood at ringside, her expression unreadable. She was known for being calculating, always thinking several steps ahead, and tonight was no different. Even in this moment of Jey's triumph, there was something about Rhea's presence that made Rikishi uneasy. Picking up his phone, Rikishi opened the camera and hit record. He had a message to send, not to his son, but to Rhea Ripley. Rhea, Rikishi began, his deep voice laced with the wisdom of years in the wrestling business. I know you're watching. You were there tonight when Jey won that Intercontinental Championship. I saw the look in your eyes, and I know you have plans. Rikishi paused for a moment, letting the weight of his words settle before continuing. You see, Rhea, I respect what you've accomplished in WWE. You've dominated the women's division, taken on challenges head-on, and earned your place. But I want you to understand something: family is everything. You've been hanging around my son, offering your advice, your cryptic words. But you need to know that no matter what you think you're doing, Jey has his own path. He doesn't need to get wrapped up in whatever game you're playing. Rikishi's tone grew more serious as he leaned closer to the camera, his eyes narrowing. You might think you have Jey's best interests at heart, or maybe you see him as just another piece in your Judgment Day puzzle, but he's more than that. Jey is a man who's had to fight for everything. He's broken away from Roman, from the bloodline, and now he's standing tall with that championship. I've watched my son go through hell to get where he is, and I won't stand by and let anyone, not even someone like you, manipulate his future. Rikishi stopped the recording and rewatched it for a moment, making sure his message was clear. Satisfied, he hit send, forwarding the video to Rhea's social media DMs. The WWE Universe was likely buzzing with excitement over Jey's victory, but Rikishi knew that behind the scenes, a new story was unfolding, a story that involved Rhea Ripley, the Judgment Day, and the future of Jey Uso. As Rikishi sat back, he couldn't help but reflect on the complicated dynamics at play. Jey had been adrift ever since he broke free from Roman's control, and though winning the Intercontinental Championship was a monumental step, it wasn't the end of his journey. If anything, it was just the beginning of a new chapter, one that could either see him rise to unprecedented heights or fall into another set of dangerous alliances. Rhea Ripley had been subtly positioning herself as a potential influence on Jey, and Rikishi knew that could either be a good thing or spell disaster. The Judgment Day was not the bloodline, but they were still a faction steeped in manipulation, power plays, and control. Rikishi didn't want to see his son fall victim to another toxic environment after all he had endured. Across the WWE Universe, fans were already speculating about what Jey's win meant for his future. Would he continue to distance himself from the bloodline entirely, carving his own legacy as a solo competitor? Or would the allure of another faction like the Judgment Day pull him in a different direction? Meanwhile, in the backstage area, Rhea Ripley stood silently watching as Jey celebrated with the title. The message from Rikishi had landed in her inbox, but she hadn't opened it yet. She didn't need to. She could sense the energy behind it, the protective father, the warning, the attempt to shield Jey from what was to come. But Rhea Ripley didn't back down easily. If anything, Rikishi's message would only fuel her even more. She admired Jey's fighting spirit, and she knew that he was capable of more than anyone ever gave him credit for. That's why she had been keeping an eye on him, offering those subtle nudges, waiting for the right moment to act. Later that night, Rhea finally opened the message. She watched Rikishi's words, her expression never wavering. When the video ended, a small smirk tugged at the corner of her lips. "So that's how it's going to be," she murmured to herself, slipping her phone back into her pocket. She glanced at the ring once more, where Jey was still basking in his victory. "We'll see how far this goes, Rikishi. We'll see." Rikishi knew his message would reach Rhea, but whether it would change anything remained to be seen. For now, he could only watch as his son stood at a crossroads, holding the Intercontinental Championship in his hands, while Rhea Ripley lingered in the shadows, plotting her next move.